All right, guys, it's 12:01 and I'll just get started on the webinar here. So welcome to the webinar called How to Build Your Unique Brand in collaboration with Study Melbourne Career Catalyst. I am Namita and I am a placement consultant with InternMatch and I will be the presenter for today. InternMatch is a Melbourne-based edtech scale-up. We are focused on placing international students into internship opportunities so that they can get one step ahead for their future career goals. And we are very pleased to be the program delivery partner for Study Melbourne Career Catalyst. Now, I'll just have a quick look on how many we have so far. We have almost around 7 attendees right now. What I would do is at the end of the session, I will allow everyone to speak so we can have a one-on-one conversation about any questions you have. But in case if you have any questions coming up in your mind while we are in the presentation, please feel free to put it in the chat box and I'll have a look at it at the end of the session. But we can very well so have a conversation with each other. Awesome. So before I start, I will begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people here today. All right, guys. So with the personal branding, what we're going to cover today is to get an understanding between a career and brand and how brand actually helps in your career. Then we will understand what your personal brand is all about. I'll also help you understand how you can best present your brand to the world outside and help you with some tools that you can develop your personal brand with. And at the end, we will highlight on the aspects of how we can showcase our personal brand to the market. All right. Now, just raise your hands or put it in the chat box, yes or no. How many of you woke up today consciously thinking about your personal brand? I'll monitor the chat box here. And if not about your personal brand, how many of you have actually gone up to an event, to an interview, thinking and worrying about your first impression? Like, how would you be perceived by the other person? Any volunteers? You can say yes or no. But either ways, how I'd like to put a personal brand is it's how you package yourself and present yourself to the world. All right, it's your personal skills, your personality, your attitude, and the values that you present to the other person standing in front of you. You know, it's those unique bits and pieces that form your personal and professional reputation. All right. I would like to say personal branding is your intellectual, your visual, and your emotional self. You know, it's how you intellectually present yourself, how visually you present, and how emotionally you're perceived by other people. So do remember these 3 aspects of your personal branding. Why does a personal brand matter? Now, it's a very basic question, but it has a very deeper meaning to it because we as students, we very seldom think deeper into our personality traits or reflect on how we are as a person. Now, I'll share an example of a TEDx video that I saw recently about personal branding. And there was this lady who had to present a big report to her board of members. And she was quite nervous about it. But then because she's done a lot of self-reflection, she had an idea of how she wants to be perceived and how she wants to present herself in front of the entire board committee. And she prepared herself well and, went to bed. The next day when she woke up, it's the most important day for her. And she has all the things, the presentation she has to present, everything is there in her head, ready. And that's her intellectual brand. Now that's ready in her head. The next would be what she wanted to present herself with as was she put on a very smart suit. Now, visually, she wanted to represent herself and create a lasting impression, because as you know, first impression is the last impression. So what she wanted to do was not just present her intellectual brand, but also present her personal brand and see how visually people perceive herself to be. So she wore her best suit, and emotionally she was very confident, and because she was wearing something that she's very comfortable with, that gives her confidence to stand in front of people and present her work, that sort of built her confidence, and emotionally she was very strong as well. So with her intellectual mind, a strong visual um, appeal, she was standing in front of the board of members in a very powerful pose. Now, pose is also something that's very important when you are talking to someone, when you're in an interview or talking to someone senior, or even your professors. You want to be standing very confidently, and showing that you're very interested in what the other person is saying or how you are presenting yourself. So this lady, she very confidently, in a very powerful pose, in a powerful suit, she stood up there in front of all the seniors and the leaders, and she presented it so well, in so much confidence, that at the end of the presentation, she got promoted to be a leader and a lead to lead a team in some overseas branch, and that sort of opened up opportunities for her. So, why I'm sharing this example of a TEDx is why personal brand matters. It helps you stand out and be memorable. With her powerful pose and her, powerful suit, she was being remembered. She would be remembered all throughout. Like, there was this lady who presented it so well to the business. So it helps her stand out. It built her confidence because of the way she wore her clothes, and she was aware of herself. And then it also built her credibility because how she presented her intellectual self. At the end of it, obviously, has opened up a lot of opportunities for her because she got promoted, she was sent overseas. So, and it also helped the business develop. So all in all, personal brand really matters when it comes to your career, as well as it makes you stand out. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll help you understand how you can build your personal brand, because as students or as graduates, it's the first step that, before entering the market, before, starting your interviewing and job applications field, you want to be aware of yourself. You want to understand who you are as a person, because once you know yourself, you know how to present yourself to the outside world. You won't feel shy, or you won't feel who am I sort of a questions, because every place you go, every recruiter, every employer, they always ask you this question: so tell me about yourself. So we will get to that point in our presentation today. But the steps to develop your personal brand would be, first of all, defining your brand, who you are. Then we'll work on developing different brand assets that are correlated to our brand, and how we can use those tools to develop our brand. And at the end of it, how all together we will put it outside in the world, and use different networks and channels to develop our personal brand. Now, how do you define who you are? Before we get started there are some ground rules to understanding a personal brand. First and foremost, being your authenticity, being how real you are, because personal brand is everything about you and your personality. It's about my personal brand is about me, my personality, my attitude, my values, how I am portraying myself to the outside world. That is how important it is. Now, anything apart from this will be futile. It would be fake. Now, when I'm presenting to you guys right now, I can be as unreal as I can. I can put on an image and be confident, and be how I'm not. But that's not who I am. While I'm presenting, while I'm talking to you students, I want you to remember me as someone memorable, right? So I want to stand out as well. Here I am in front of you presenting my personal brand by showing what I know about personal branding, my intellectual, showing how well I'm dressed up and what's my body language like. So that's giving you a bit of my visual personal brand. And emotional is when we are actually having a conversation, and then you'll understand, oh, we could connect on that level as well. So you need to keep these three things in mind, and you have to be as authentic as possible. Now, the second aspect of being a personal branding is being consistent. The way I am right now in front of you, I want to be the same when I'm meeting my friends, I am at my workplace, or I'm meeting students in university, or when I'm attending my classes or any events. This is how I want to be because this is who I am. And I want to show my personal brand to be consistent across different channels. All right, be it on social media, be it on LinkedIn, or being it face to face. I want my personal brand to be consistent. And at the end of it, I want to understand, why do people want to engage with me? I want to add value to the other person in the conversation or in the situation I'm helping them with. So that's where my brand stands out. What value I'm adding to the other person, be it professionally or personally. So the being authentic, being consistent, and adding value creates the ground rule of my personal brand. It follows everywhere. Personal brand is following you everywhere right now in this webinar, where be it when you're in your uni, in your classroom, when you're out attending events. So it could either be in person at work or online at work, or either way, same when you're outside in your personal space or in your social gatherings, your personal brand follows you everywhere. Now, how do we start reflecting on ourselves? Now, this is the first and foremost very important step in understanding your personal brand. All right, you need to start by reflecting on yourself. Like, what is self-reflection? Now, I'm not, as students, as youngsters, not many are used to self-reflecting on yourself unless you're very keen to know who you are and how you are. But in order to develop your personal brand for your career, it's very important to understand your personal self. And for that, there is a tool called self-reflection. It's a process where you dig deep into yourself and understand who you are, what do you like doing, what do you enjoy doing, what are your values and your attitude. So it could be a challenging process because it's not very comfortable to talk to yourself and understand what's happening, who am I, sort of a thing. But in career, to develop yourself, to kickstart your career, it's a very important aspect because you want to stand out in the market. You want to showcase the best version of yourself. So self-reflection is a very good process. And you can simply do it by asking these 5 questions, all right, 5, 6 questions. How would people describe me to other people? Or how do I want to be perceived by other people? What am I passionate about? What I love doing? What are my values? And what do I want to achieve in life? Now, if you're following me, we can do a I'll give you an example. I'll talk about myself and see how I'm answering these questions one by one. This is my very quick self-reflection, all right? It's a very random thought I'm having in my head, but you can always sit down and have a think about it. Now, how would people describe me? I want people to describe me as a very outgoing person, a very happy-go-lucky person who's always smiling and, who loves talking to people. How do I want to be perceived as? Similarly, I am a very proactive person, and she's always there to help and support others. I'm very passionate about helping international students build their employability skills and soft skills. That's my passion in life, to, help fellow students develop in their careers. I enjoy training. I love facilitating. That's what I'm doing right now, conducting this webinar. I enjoy doing it. And my values here is to create an impact in the lives of international students here who have come long away, far off from their homes. They're trying to start a life here in a foreign land, kickstart their careers. And that's the value that I want to add to my life, to impact students positively. And what do I want to achieve? I want to achieve my goal of upskilling students and helping them build their careers in a new land. So this is how my reflection went from what I want people to know know me as, and as to what I love doing and what I'm passionate about. So it's a very quick reflection you can do yourself by just, take a pen, paper, and just quickly write down how you would like others to describe you in a gathering. So that's the first step to your personal brand, building your personal brand. Now, you could do either writing it down and thinking it, doing a self-reflection, or you could take an assessment. Now, this is a self-reflection assessment. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. There's the QR code. If you want, you can scan it here, or simply Google VIA character strengths assessment. If you know, a human has 24 character strengths that positively creates their personality. So in order to understand what are your character strengths and how what stands out for you, please do take this test. It's always good to understand. It will help you build your brand, personal brand. And then when you're having a conversation with a recruiter or an employer, you can always mention that, I've taken this test and this is what I understand about myself. There are a lot of blind spots that you may not know about yourself. I never knew that I had a humor portion to myself. That's when I did the test and I spoke to my friends. They made me realize that, yeah, I can be funny at times. So I added that to my personal brand. I'm like, okay, I can be humorous as well. So these are the blind spots where, when you take these tests, you're able to recognize things about yourself. Now, the sort of qualities and strengths that you see, it could be teamwork, leadership, creativity, as I said, humor, uh, kindness, and how spiritual it is, or even understanding your perspective. So there are amazing. It's a great self-assessment tool. I do encourage you to take this to just kickstart your personal branding journey. You know. All right. So, hobbies is something that we are all very aware of. And it's a very basic question when we are in interviews or when we meet new friends in university. So, what's your hobby? What do you like doing? So, hobby is generally described as an activity that's done out of happiness, joy, or maybe just to time pass. But I want to make sure that you guys understand that hobby should not just be another time pass. There should be an intention attached to it. It should, form a personal brand. You should be having hobbies and activities that actually contribute to your personal brand. And why I'm saying personal brand so much, because it's you. Personal brand, we come across so many brands in a day's activities. We come across products, the clothes we are wearing, everything has a brand. But what about your personal brand? You want to build that personal brand in order to add value to your career as well. And part of that brand comes your hobbies. And there are some 5 essential type of hobbies that should be part of your life. And we very seldom think about it, but the first should be the one that gets you income, sort of your job. Any sort of employment you're doing that gets you money should be your first and foremost hobby. The second one should be the one that keeps you moving, that keeps you active, and some sort of activity. It could be swimming, hiking, walking, or if you love doing marathons, anything that keeps your body healthy and active. There's one that keeps you creative. It's as simple as listening to music or creating something crafty, sketching, or building a new tool. So anything that keeps your mind creative as well. Also, the one that builds knowledge. It could be listening to podcasts, reading books, or looking at a lot of TEDx videos. So this is just another general hobby that, sometime in a month or two, that you're looking at some videos or listening to podcasts that build your knowledge. And then the last one is the one that evolves your mindset. Talking to like-minded people, meditating, attending events that, evolves your mindset, improves your knowledge. So these are the top 5 basic hobbies that you should follow in order to become a multifaceted human. And as I said, this is the start of your career. Some of you might have worked before or are working at the moment. But for people who are planning to get back into the industry, who are looking to start their new life in as a new profession. These are the things that you should keep in mind, and personal branding being one is very important to build your career at any stage of life. The next is the key to knowing who you are. Now, we doing that self-reflection, asking those basic questions, then maybe taking help of a self-assessment tool will highlight something about yourself. Now, those aspects form a narrative. They form a story about yourself, about who you are, what you love doing, and who you are as a person. It's the key attributes and skills, the passion in life that builds your story, your personal life journey. And this can be included anywhere. It could be in your resume, it could be in your LinkedIn profile, on your Instagram profile, and any sort of conversations you're having. So your personal brand, as I said, follows you everywhere. And the fact is, if you know yourself better, you'd be more comfortable and more confident to tell more about yourself to the other person. And it's a very important tool when you are in a foreign land, when everyone's new to you. You want to present yourself, you want people to know you, and that's where personal branding comes handy. That's where it's very important. Now, developing your brand assets. Now, brand assets, we will come to it, but before we get into the brand assets part of it, your personal pitch. Your pitch is something that's very important. Like, as I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, it is such a common question. Tell me about yourself. And everyone, at least I have always been, I have fumbled so much. I'm like, oh, okay, what should I tell about myself? I'm Namita and I'm working here. But that's not it. You want to explain yourself in a very concise manner and give the other person a highlight of who you are, what you love doing, and how you might help them. How would you add value? And it's very concise. You want to create a lasting first impression. So to understand who you are, again, doing the reflection, doing some self-assessment, it gives an idea of who you are. But whenever someone asks you, tell me about yourself, could be a very quick brief. Keep it very brief. Always start with your name, all right? And as a student, mention where you're studying and what degree you're doing. And you could also mention if you're doing a part-time job or any other work. Do mention your goals. It could be a very short-term, very short-sighted goal as well. It need not be a long that, I want to become the biggest, the richest person in the world. It could be as small as I'm looking forward to graduating at the end of the year. So that's your goal, to effectively, successfully graduate from a university. And the way you say it is very important. You want to say it very positively and enthusiastically. You want to sound very confident and happy because you're sharing something about yourself. You are telling the other person who you are. So you want it to be in the best way possible. And, if someone tells something about themselves in a very low voice, a scared way, not sure what they're saying, it doesn't come off well. Other person doesn't perceive it well. So you want to have a smiling face, share, because you're sharing about yourself. You're telling world who you are. So always be very positive about it. An example here is, if I'm a student, it would be like, hi, I'm Namita. I'm a student at La Trobe University studying my master's in marketing, and I'm preparing to graduate at the end of this year. I recently completed an internship with a fantastic local marketing agency based in Collingwood, and I'm really looking forward to joining the workforce in 2023 once I've graduated. I'd love to step into a role of a digital marketing or a social media advertising role. Thank you. So this is a very brief, concise description of who I am, what I'm doing, what I did, and what I'm looking forward to. So that's my goal. Your personal pitch is very important, and it definitely creates the first impression of how you present yourself. These are some sort of brand assets that help you build your personal brand. Your personal brand is always in your resume. The way you write, your education, the work experience, all the extracurricular activities you've done as part of your school and your university, the clubs you're associated with, everything from your resume should ooze out your personality. It should show who you are as a person and what you've done so far and what you love doing. It's fine that there isn't any work experience mentioned on the resume. It's absolutely fine, because you have to take the first step. So everyone who's present at the webinar right now have actually taken the first step to build their personal brand. So once we get from here, it's always an upward climb. So it's okay if there isn't much on the resume as yet, because it's just the beginning of your career journey. Your LinkedIn, very important, because right now it's the age of LinkedIn. Everyone is present there when it comes to business and career. All companies are present, and everyone loves to showcase on LinkedIn about their career achievements or any sort of skills they've developed. So LinkedIn could be a great tool to build your brand as well. Obviously, when you attend events, you have your brand, you're carrying your brand there. So how you're presenting yourself, how you're talking and introducing yourself to people, that could be an amazing chance to work on your personal brand. The content you share, any volunteering opportunities you do, emails, as basic as email conversation that you send, how you introduce yourself, do you acknowledge the other person, do you say thank you, kind regards, how you curate your email also reflects on your personal brand. And obviously the relationships you build with people socially and professionally, the social media accounts you have, and how you're presented, yourself there, and even in client meetings. It all comes down to how you're using your personal brand in these different situations, and how you're using these situations to build your personal brand. All right. um we will look at LinkedIn as a tool for your personal branding. It's one of the best places to build your brand on LinkedIn, especially when, as a university student, when you are about to enter the job market, you want to know what other people are doing, what companies are doing, what are the skills trending right now, and how you can create an impression, a presence on your LinkedIn profile that reflects on your personal brand. So it definitely showcases your personality. You can, build your brand by posting regular content, which is authentic to your skill set. Now we'll come to that in our following slides here. Definitely once you are on LinkedIn, you would, to create more of your personal brand online, you would engage with different people. You'll build your network there. You'll connect with a lot of like-minded people, or follow a lot of profiles that have amazing content that motivates you, that from a content that you learn from, that helps you build your career and your brand. So do always engage in commenting and liking posts, connect with people, and you yourself can post a lot of great content about maybe some skills you've developed, or a recent job, or even a project, an assignment you've done in university and what you learned. Because I believe when I was a university student, I always used my assignments as projects when it came to job applications. I didn't have any work experience here, but to build my personal brand, my intellectual brand, the only work that I'd done was assignments during university. And because I understood assignments are so big on task, there's research, there is a lot of writing involved, there's a lot of brainstorming involved with groups and with yourself. I started using these assignments on in my interviews as well. I'm like, these are the things I've learned, and this is how I worked. So you could always use different aspects of your life, even on LinkedIn. Share any assignment you've done and what you've learned from there. How should your LinkedIn look like? Now, this is a very brief, how do I say, a mock into how a LinkedIn could look like if you're using it to build your personal brand, or even generally if you're using a LinkedIn profile. 25%, it's a 25% rule. 25% should showcase your human side of, what does your day look like, where you're working from. It's just using it like another social media platform where you're just showing your work desk or your university desk where you're sitting and, doing your assignment or doing a study. It shows the human side of you, or any events that you've attended, and, appreciating or acknowledging the event posts and any person there, so that it reflects on, okay, you've been attending any sort of event as well. Now 25% could be showcasing the company you work with or the university you're studying at the moment. It creates a big part of your brand. It showcases where you're coming from and who you're engaged with as well. You could also celebrate your peers and your colleagues, or your friends who have recently done something amazing at work or at university, and you're just congratulating them on your post. So that's also something that could add value to your personal brand. Skills, definitely skills, any sort of skills you've learned, any sort of certification you've done online or during your university time, do add it onto your LinkedIn profile here. It adds a lot of value to the network you're connected with, and it opens up a lot of opportunities for you. If you reflect on why personal brand matters, this is where it comes in, that when you're showcasing yourself, it opens up a lot of opportunities for you as well. And the last 25% is your self promotion. Personal brand is everything to do with you and your personality. So why shy away from promoting yourself? When you're on LinkedIn, make sure that, you're celebrating yourself. If you start a new role or a promotion, or even when you've done an assignment successfully or you've achieved great marks, do let your network know. People love to celebrate other people and their successes on LinkedIn. It's an amazing platform, very positive. So do go there and engage. Now, ideally, how your profile would look like is something like this: sharing my study buddy, that is your 25% of your first aspect, then meeting my new team, then attending events, any sort of thing, congratulating others or yourself, and also seeing that, following the next big digital marketing trend. So this is how you can see an ideal LinkedIn profile would look like. Don't shy away from posting at all. If there's something that you feel that has added value to your personal brand and to your learning, definitely go ahead and post it for your network, and that adds value. Then that adds value to your personal brand and to the network you have in. Build your network. LinkedIn has amazing people online, biggest CEOs, everyone's there, and they say you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. That's a very important tool, a very important data point there. So spend time with a network that helps you grow, that helps you learn. Definitely there's a social circle you have, but professionally, if you want to grow, be around people that acknowledges your personal brand and they help you build yourself as well. And at the end of it, guys, what I would like to share is that it's okay if you don't know who you are right now and what your brand is, or you feel that you don't even have a brand right now. It's completely fine. Personal brand is very personal, as mentioned, and please take your time and you decide when, where, and how you want to start building your personal brand. It's never too late. I started building my personal brand when I was in university, and as an international student in Melbourne, I thought that I need to work on my personal brand. I want to showcase the world who I am. And that's when I started reflecting, using some self-assessment tools, and then came about a narrative. I had a story to share with recruiters, with people I met in events, and share with them my personal brand. And it's up to you. Whenever you feel like it's the right time, you can definitely go ahead and start building your personal brand. So that was it with the personal branding here. There are 2 amazing events coming up, and they are in person. So The first one is why you need to work with a company with an innovative culture. Please scan the QR code and register. It's an in-person. You'll get a chance to meet Anu, who is the director of people from Pitcher Partners, but you can also meet the team at InternMatch. You can meet me, and we can all have a good one-on-one conversation. It's going to be an amazing event. So do register yourself here. This registration link is also available on our website. And the next event is boosting your career with personal brand. So today we touched on the basics of personal brand, but there's going to be another in-person event where Rosie is going to share in depth about how you can start working on it and start developing. So it could, everyone who's attended today, this next event could be a first step to developing your personal brand as well, to learning more about yourself. So that's all. I can open up for any questions there are. I can see there is a question there. When everyone has a personal brand, how do we stand out? That's a very good question there. I'm just going to answer it this way so that everyone is helpful. As I said, how do you want to stand out? That is your intellectual, visual, and emotional brand. That's your emotional self. How do you want to perceive yourself to be to the outside world? Every person has a personal brand, but they also have a unique personality trait. That's what you want to recognize by reflecting on yourself, by taking some self-assessment tools and understanding that this is how I stand out from other people. It could be a smile. It could be the way you're talking to the other person. It could be as basic as your listening skills, showing that you're very supportive and you listen with care. So it's up to you how you reflect on yourself and start to understand yourself. That's how you will understand, oh, this is how I stand out from the crowd. I hope I could answer that. Could you share the QR code? Yes, I can. There you go. There's the one here. And I'll share the other one as well. And I can allow everyone to speak if anyone wants to speak. And we can have a conversation as well. All right, so that's and this is the last QR code, the other one. Any other questions there are for anyone?
It's okay, thank you.
Hey, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Do you have any questions I can help with?
Oh, no, it's okay. Thank you for all the information.
Thank you. Hope it was helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll stay in here for, say, 5 minutes and see if there are any other questions coming in. My name, yeah. Sorry, my name is Namita. And I am one of the placement consultants at InternMatch. Well, you will have that somewhere here. I can share it with you. That's me. So guys, do remember, personal brand is a journey. You will not, it's impossible to develop it overnight. It's a process of understanding yourself and narrating a journey that you want to showcase to the world outside about who you are as a person and how do you want the world to perceive you. So it's a long journey and it isn't iterative. So you will keep developing your personal brand as and when you grow and as you move from one situation to another. So just be open about yourself and always have a confident smile. That's it. If you have a smile, it just, the world becomes fine. You're able to present yourself in the best way possible. All right, guys, if there isn't any other question coming in, Thank you. That's very appreciative. I really enjoy talking about personal brands. So if you are attending the event next Wednesday on 16th, I'll be more than happy to meet any of you there and have a good in-person conversation. So thank you guys. You've been great today. Hope you have a good week and take care then. See you.